So we continue with our intern of the UNESCO Chair of Intercultural Policy, Mrs. Vanessa Zervogianni, who holds a Master of Science in Artificial Intelligence. She is a website and media coordinator at Harvard Center for Hellenic Studies here in Greece. And Mrs. Zervogianni is going to talk about media and information literacy cities.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me today. Give me 1 second. Okay. Hopefully you can see both me and the presentation.
You have the floor.
Thank you very much. So today I'd like to talk to you about media and information literate citizens, and more precisely about the second edition of the UNESCO's Media and Information Literacy Curriculum for Educators and Learners, entitled Think Critically, Click Wisely. 1 second, there we go. You can see here the cover of the new curriculum. First, I'd like to give you some background of this resource. So in 2011, UNESCO issued its Module Media and Information Literacy Curriculum, and it has been the only international curriculum that harmonized information, media, and digital competencies under the umbrella term of media and information literacy. It has been a very highly demanded resource. It has been translated in 12 languages and has informed the development of further media and information literacy resources by various partners across the world. However, in this day and age, new developments in the digital domain have arisen, like artificial intelligence, the emergence of new concepts such as digital citizens and digital citizenship education, and of course, the exponential rise in disinformation and online hate speech. As a result, a new need has emerged for UNESCO to update their flagship resource 10 years after its publication. So in 2019, in Belgrade, the Republic of Serbia, was held the International Consultative Meeting on Media and Information Literacy Curriculum, which in turn led to a year-long series of international and regional consultation meetings. And in 2021, in last April, was launched the second edition of the UNESCO Model Media and Information Literacy Curriculum for Educators and Learners. This new curriculum is based on a series of principles. First of all, it's based on United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, but as I believe you're all very well aware of those, I will skip to the other principles it's based on. So UNESCO's 5 laws of media and information literacy, media and information policy and strategy guidelines, and Belgrade recommendations on draft global standards for media and information literacy curricula guidelines are the other set of principles the new curriculum is based on. And now I will go through them one by one. So UNESCO's 5 laws of media and information literacy. The first law is that information, communication, and all forms of information providers are equal in stature. That can include TV, newspapers, websites, any sources and providers of information and communication. Secondly, every citizen has to be empowered to access new information or knowledge and to express themselves. The third law is that information, knowledge, and messages broadcast are not always neutral. The fourth law is that every citizen wants to know and understand and communicate, even when they don't explicitly express that desire. And finally, media and information literacy is not acquired at once, it's a lifelong process. The second set of principles this new curriculum is based on is media and information literacy policy and strategy guidelines. So the concept is how media and information literacy can be used as a tool for development within an ethical use of media and information, promote participation in society, and provide quality media information providers. It is based on human rights and gender equality framework that empowers everyone, is diverse, and encompasses people of all genders and all ages. These guidelines provide policy directions, including the provision of opportunities for empowerment and increased democratic participation, and that citizens should be involved creatively in the production of media and information content. And all citizens should be equipped with skills to critically use and engage with media and information providers. The strategies to apply those guidelines include formal and non-formal education, various media organizations and government entities such as ministries of education, for example. And of course, the intercultural dialogue is promoted via the freedom of expression within information communications technology, access to information for everybody, empowerment of citizens, and teaching them how to filter stereotypes on any cultural aspect. Then the other set of principles the new curriculum is based on is the draft global standards for media and information literacy curricula guidelines. Each one of them is related to an SDG. You can see them on screen in detail. So first of all, the promotion of quality education and lifelong learning for all, gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls, allowing people to get better jobs and make better economic decisions, reduce inequalities of any kind, make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable, of course, the promotion of peace and inclusion in societies, justice for everybody, fundamental freedoms such as the freedom of speech and accountability, partnerships, and finally, the reduction of cultural barriers of any kind, religious, ethnic, gender, and communication through the ethical use of new technologies. So those were all the principles in, not in detail really, the curriculum is based on, and now I'd like to touch on its scope. So UNESCO's new curriculum is part of a systemic policy response to misinformation and hate speech, while preserving fundamental citizen freedoms, such as the freedom of expression, ensuring that everyone has the skills required to think critically, click wisely, as is the title of the curriculum itself. Targeted public policies at both national and institutional levels are required through formal education systems, as well as informal and non-formal learning spaces. And finally, UNESCO aspires that with the effective use of this media and information literacy curriculum, everyone can become media and information literate, but also they can act as a peer educator of media and information literacy. As the title conveys, the target audience of this curriculum are both educators and learners. So when we talk about educators, this is really in a broad scope. So teachers at the secondary and mainly tertiary levels, any persons involved in training or learning in NGOs, community centers, media, libraries, museums, archives, anything really. The curriculum is also relevant to government officials and ministries, as well as other social and international development organizations. And of course, given the broad scope of its target audience, users may need to adapt the content of the curriculum to make it more relevant or accessible to specific target groups. The curriculum is a quite long resource. It's over 400 pages, and it's divided in 14 detailed modules that cover the range of competencies required in order to navigate today's communications ecosystem. And each one of these 14 modules is divided to units, between 2 and 7 units that in turn cover different aspects of any given module's topic. Now I'd like to briefly present you the 14 modules, which are the backbone of this curriculum. So the curriculum starts with an introduction to key concepts such as civic participation, interacting with content providers, cultural participation in a creative way, entrepreneurship, teaching and lifelong learning. Then the curriculum discusses how citizens can understand information and technology and media in society, what the concept of freedom is in today's digital ecosystem, ethics and social responsibility, and what the news development process is and what the criteria are for a piece of information to be considered as a piece of news. Then the curriculum discusses how academic and scientific information are constructed, how citizens can strategically explore this information that's available to them, how they can evaluate academic and scientific information in various learning environments, how information literacy is applied within an academic context, and the concept of intellectual property, and more precisely here, authorship recognition. Then challenges and risks of the internet and the opportunities it provides are discussed as far as people of any age are concerned, including young people and children, opportunities and risks in networking and social engagement online, and how one can safely manage their own online presence, what is also called the digital footprint. The next module is about the concept of global citizenship, the national and global contexts, and citizen-driven information and citizen journalism, so how citizens can actively construct and disseminate information. The sixth module is about representation in media and information with an emphasis on gender equality, how news reporting and the power of image are conveyed and how these are related to gender representation. Then the next module is about how citizens can critically read and interpret media and information texts and messages in print and in any other form through various film genres, storytelling, and how people communicate on digital platforms of social media, and how they can again critically engage with the content offered there. Then the concept of privacy in media and information literacy is discussed, and learners learn what the institutional obligations are to privacy and data protection. The ninth module discusses the concept of truth, facts, and disinformation, and how disinformation affects individuals and the society. Then advertising, revenue and regulations around advertising, what is targeted advertising, and what creative aspects there are in advertising, and the notion of transnational advertising and big super brands. Then artificial intelligence and social media, their relationship is explored, what an individual's and the society's rights are within the context of artificial intelligence, and what choices one can make when they use social media that are powered by artificial intelligence. Next on digital media and the transition from traditional media to high-tech digital media, and interactive multimedia tools in education with an emphasis on digital games in learning spaces. Then media, technology, and the sustainable development goals. very broadly the social, cultural, political dimensions of media, media ownership, and commoditization of information, and how alternative media can be promoted through digital technology, unlike traditional media, for example. And the 14th module is a capstone module that summarizes learning theories in media and information literacy, and how societies can manage change to foster an enabling environment for media and information literacy in schools. As I said, each one of these 14 modules is divided in units. It could be between 2 and 7 units. You can see them now on screen. And to make this outline of the curriculum structure clear, I have chosen one of the 14 modules. I chose module 7 as an example, how media and technology influence content. It is because I work in web content, in its procurement, editing, and curation, so it's of personal interest to me. So the 7th module is divided in 4 units, and I've chosen unit, it's actually, yeah, unit 1, reading information and media texts, to provide you with an illustrative example of what an educator who is using this curriculum can do in class. So the unit's key topics are examining codes and conventions in media and information texts, analyzing meaning in symbols and visual language, and exploring media and technological tools like photo and video. And the learning objectives of this unit, of this module, are to identify codes and conventions used to convey meaning in a variety of media and information texts, and identify signs and symbols used for a variety of purposes in local and global communities. In the same unit, in the same module, the curriculum presents some pedagogical approaches and specific activities an educator can undertake with their learners. So an educator can divide learners into small groups and have each group choose a social media platform. Then they can give them, guide them to study the platform, to identify technical codes and conventions used by each platform to communicate and frame a message. An example could be the length of a tweet on Twitter. And finally, at the end of the unit, educators and learners are invited to assess their work, and the curriculum is giving some recommendations on how this could happen. So they can analyze codes and conventions in an advertisement. They can analyze signs and symbols in a poster in their neighborhood and create a collage as a team. As I've said, this curriculum is a quite lengthy resource. It can be delivered as a standalone course, of course, and lead to a certificate or even provide university credit. It can be delivered more intensively, short few weeks of training followed by a project assignment which the teachers have to undertake and deliver in order to, for example, receive credit. Another approach that UNESCO is suggesting is the multi-components integration. That means that different components of the curriculum can be integrated to different courses that are already offered to learners and educators. For example, it could be, I don't know, a course on history that is a standard course of history in a school setting, and they can choose a module to integrate to that course in the school, for example. UNESCO also suggests that this curriculum is delivered as an online course. Ideally, the institution that's interested in providing this online course can partner with another institution that has relevant facilities in place to support online learning. UNESCO, for example, has partnered with Coursera to provide a MOOC, which you can find in this link. So what are the next steps? UNESCO has announced that the United Nations online multimedia teaching resources platform will be updated and is now updated with resources that are open to everyone to copy, adapt, and share. I'll get back to this in a minute. Also, UNESCO will develop and disseminate micro-learning resources that are based on this new curriculum and will be distributed online to promote peer education of media and information literacy. And finally, UNESCO is planning to translate the new curriculum in as many languages as possible and get support to adapt and localize it in different settings and communities. So just a quick note on the updated platform. So you can go to this link that you can see now on the screen. That's a United Nations platform that aims to promote intercultural and interreligious dialogue and mutual understanding through media and information literacy. And there you can find resources that are based on UNESCO's new curriculum on media and information literacy. Here are the sources I used in my research, and here is some suggestions for further reading. I'd like to thank you for your time. Thank you for having me. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Thank you very much, dear Vanessa, for presenting to us this very analytical presentation about the media and information literacy cities, and giving us also the references in order to find more. I think it is interactive. Our seminar is quite interactive because we have so many sources and we can find so many things. And now we have the honor of having here with us Professor Felipe Chibas Ortiz, who is a professor at the University of Sao Paulo at the Department of Public Relations, Advertising and Propaganda and Tourism. He's also a researcher at the Center for Evaluation and Measurement Studies in Communication and Marketing in the School of Communications and Arts in the University of Sao Paulo. Professor Felipe Chibas Ortiz currently works on research in communication and media, higher education and teaching methods. He is the author of several books about communication, creativity, and culture, published in many countries. And most of all, Felipe Chibas Ortiz is the regional representative for Latin America for UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Alliance, co-leader at the UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Cities Network project. Professor Chibas Ortiz, it's an honor that you are here with us from Brazil. We wish you were here indeed in Thessaloniki, Greece, but this may happen maybe another time. I now give you the floor for your speech on the program Worldwide Network of Media and Information Literacy Cities.
Thank you so much for this bienvenue. I am really happy and glad to be here. It's a real pleasure to be here. It's an honor. It's an honor too. My name is Felipe Chibas Ortiz. I am professor at the University of Sao Paulo and UNESCO representative for Latin America at UNESCO Media Alliance. At this moment, I like to sharing with us my slides. I will speak about mid cities for cultural change and creative jump. My English is not very good, but my ideas, my speech and my soul is better. Let's go. let me share the slides.
Yes, we can see it very well.
Oh, thank you so much, Delfina. And I like to say thank you so much, Professor Delfina, and thank you so much to everybody for your attention of my simple speech. Here we go. Main cities for cultural change and creative jump. We have here a new model of city. We have here a new think and a new ideas about the cities, and we have here too a new research about this. Let me show you. In the second slide, we have my research team, Toth, CRIARCOM. Toth is the name of Egyptian god about knowledge. CRIARCOM, the meaning of CRIARCOM is creativity, innovation, communication, and marketing. Our lines to research are cultural barriers to communication, indicated by UNESCO, creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship, marketing and communication for project management, for communication management, digital marketing and distance learning, 5, personal internet marketing, and 6, mile cities or mill cities, media and information literacy cities, indicated or line recommended by UNESCO. Every year we commemorate the World Cities Days, the World Cities Day in UNESCO. This is very important date because this day we need remember the opportunities and the challenge of the cities. We have here the top 50 smart cities in the world in 2020. We have cities like London, like Paris, Tokyo, and others. But but our cities is not here. Athens is not here. São Paulo is not here. Why? That's my question. We have here too the more important objectives, sustainable development goals or objectives of the society, mondial society. We have here the 11 objective, 11 goal, the sustainable cities and communities. This very important objective or goal for everybody. But what kind of city we need? What is a mill city? It's different. It's the same, for example, for a smart city, or is the same, is similar to educational cities or creativity cities. Well, Smart Cities is a framework developed by UNESCO, our urban space that can use artificial intelligence and other new technologies, but with respect of diversities, organic empowerment of every citizen, educating critical and creative thinking, valuing a bold ecology and sustainable way, new affectivity of the city, combating misinformation, fake news, deep fakes, and post-truths. And very important thing, this framework includes other frameworks, such as smart cities, healthy cities, educational cities, creative cities, innovation cities, and others. This is a very important point too. The model of the mill cities is inclusive model. Let's continue. Mill cities indicators. We have here the indicators of this city. We have here indicators to evaluate any city. Well, let's do it. Let's read. The first one: City Hall, public institutions, and citizenship. 2, roads, urbanism and transport models, education. 4, health. 5, culture, art, sport, tourism and leisure. 6, libraries. 7, association, unions, sociocultural projects. 8, media and communication channels. 9, artificial intelligence, startups and digital channels. 11, children, youth, elderly, women, and other vulnerable groups. These metrics have simulated with smart cities, but the vision, the look of these metrics and indicators are different. Let's see an example. Kalasatama, Mill neighborhood in Helsinki. In Kalasatama, in this neighborhood, we have new buildings must produce 30% of the energy they consume. The city hall has an innovation department called Medium Forum. Citizens who are the co-creators and testers of all innovation. This third point, is very important. It's the participation of the citizens in the construction of the new city. 4, future residents organized in cooperative. These points, the participation is very important too. And finally, each block will have different types of apartments around gardens within the course and other details not important. But in the city, in the model or paradigm of cities, the focus is the humanization or post-humanization with artificial intelligence, but proposing public policy, innovative product and service to citizens, for the citizens, for the people, and the participative way, with focus in the communication and the overcomes the barriers, cultural barriers to communication. Well, we have here two Mill City Metrics application. This application we develop, we will develop with Mr. Alton Grizzly and Milady Castro and my team, Toth CRIARCOM. This application is to evaluate the cities with these metrics. We have here a very interesting research. This research we have we do this research with 25 countries and 2,000 people. People or for the 4 continents and 25 countries. What issues we have here is very interesting. Wait a minute. The principal question of this research was a skill need. What the skill needs to solve the city's challenge? Well, in the first place, we have to putting ideas in practice. Very important. In the second place, we have critical thinking. Critical thinking, you know, is the more important ability or skill to develop a new cities and to develop a mild approach. We have here a second question. What should the city be like? The answer of the respondent was, in the first place, Mill City. In the second place, with educative city. And in the first place, a smart city. This result is very important. This result show for us that city the people need is not a smart city. The people need other city with post-human look and post-human vision. Let's continue. Oh, excuse me. 10 World City Challenge. The first one, integrate solutions in urban policies. 2, operationalize the proposals. 3, having a legal regulation. 4, technological update. 5, efficient use of data, but with a post-human focus. 6, create a culture in people, institutions, and startups to share data. 7, data security and ethical use. 8, decrease cultural barriers to communication with women, blacks, youth, elderly, religions, etc. Contemplate all social class, groups, and minorities in the implemented solutions. 10, incorporate multicultural communication into the city's electronic governances. 11, integrate the data and information generated by the city into platforms to generate knowledge. 4, opportunities. Opportunities for the government, citizens, and all the city. 1, new strategies to combat misinformation, fake news using artificial intelligence. 2, new healthy lifestyles, nutrition, physical education, and others. New innovative product and service for specific groups. Example, healthy longevity. New education and health applications and startups. New international, national, and regional management communication policies. 6, new private and public alliance. But it's necessary to overcome cultural barriers to communication for all this. And how we can do that? And before, what is the cultural barriers to communication? Cultural barriers to communication are a set of factors from a symbolic or concrete origin that extend beyond language difference, and which could also damage communication between people of different countries, organizations, ethnicities, cultures, and values. Steps in the implementation of many cities. The first one, diagnosis. Second, sharing the diagnosis with all social actors and stakeholders. Third, participatory construction of scenarios. 4, creation of commissions that allow the engagement of the population. 5, implementation of this plan. And 6, evaluation and monitoring this implementation. Well, initial proposal for São Paulo city, my city. I am in Cuba, but I live in São Paulo. Initial proposal for São Paulo city under the vision of mile cities. We were now to advertise the book Marketing, Communication, Technology, and Innovation in the Male Cities. This book has the principal lines of the male cities. 2, contribute to open innovation platform in the University of São Paulo. 3, elaboration a meal event in 22-21. Diagnosis the cultural barriers to communication in the neighborhood of São Paulo and in the University of São Paulo, in our university too. 6, transform the subway of São Paulo in a mill subway. It's a real challenge. 7, Mill Cities course organized by the Toth CRIARCOM, our team, and in-depth psychology institute of the University of São Paulo. 2, elaborate metrics to mill cities, continued in this process, and the Toth CRIARCOM, our team of research, developing application mill city metrics. To go deeper, can use these books. I edited these books, From Smart Cities to Mile Cities, Metrics inspired by UNESCO's vision, and this one too, Marketing, Communication, Technology, and Innovation in the Mill Cities. I edited these books with the Professor Vanessa Zervogianni, my partner, and authors of 25 countries from United States, France, Spain, Brazil, Cuba, and African countries, and others. This book have a real global vision about mill cities. We have now a world city, a world mill city networks, and this vision to many authors is very important too. But the importance of the mill cities perspective or final considerations. What is the point of having a technological city if all residents of do not can use all these possibilities? What good is technology if residents or citizens can handle fake news, deep fakes, and post-truths? What are the right metrics to develop mile cities? We have now the World City Network. Atenas, join us. That is my final word. Thank you so much for your attention. And I am really happy to be here. It's a real honor and a real pleasure too. Thank you so much again.
Thank you very much, Professor. We do have a question in our chat for your presentation. Is the government of Sao Paulo, that means the municipality of Sao Paulo, open to hear about all this brilliant work you do and perhaps willing to collaborate? They seem to be an important stakeholder for transforming Sao Paulo to a MIL city. But on your experience, are they willing to assist CRIARCOM? This is a question from Mina Centuru.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So many questions and real important questions. The government of São Paulo have a compromise with us. We have a partnership with the government of São Paulo. We have a real complementarity with the government of São Paulo. This is a process. We start the process now, and the results and the issues will come in the time. But we start the process at the moment. Please repeat again the second question. Is possible, please?
Yes, please. So it states, one moment. There is this question. They seem to be an important stakeholder for transforming Sao Paulo to a MIL city, but on your experience, are they willing to assist CRIARCOM?
In our experience, let me tell you after, we have here a new process. We have here a new stakeholders in this process too. It's very important in this process, the citizen participation. In other states, in all the states. Now this challenge is in the beginning. This situation, we have a few experience. That's the truth. But in my opinion, in the near future, we can construct a new way to the relationship between five agents of innovation. These agents are governments, academia, artists. Artists are very important in this process because artists are the leaders. Artists are they have the attractive and they are very important in this process. We have in this process too the startups and a new initiative, new enterprise, technological enterprise. We have in this process, involved in this process, all the citizen, the final points, but the simple citizen. The citizen is the focus of all process, and the citizens, with all the citizens, when they participate in this process, we transform. They transform the city. That's our plan. But I repeat, our experience is a few experience. We start the process now, and we research now, and propose the change at the same time. This is the real situation.
Well, so I think you have answered the question by Mrs. Zervogianni, Vanessa, who asked who can implement an media and information literacy city plan. Is it local authorities that have to be engaged? What about universities in a city? I think you have answered that, but if you want to say something again.
Okay. This is very important question, because we have now a new program for the universities. We have mil universities cities now. We have a new program only for the universities, and have a pilot in the University of São Paulo and the FACENS in São Paulo too. FACENS is other university, because the universities have a special challenge and different problems of the whole city. We have in the universities very important stakeholders and the potential of the transformation. And if in the university, in the policy of the university, we show the success of the model, we can extrapolate and generalize this model in other neighborhoods on other parts of the city. We have in the University of São Paulo, of course, so much support, and my advice, my recommendation, what can do in the University of Athens, will do the same thing in the University of Athens and compare the results. For example, in the University of Barcelona, we have the initial process too in São Paulo and the Barcelona University. But my invitation to the professor and to to other students and professors too, my colleagues, is join us.
Yeah, why not? We can join you, so we can see how we can collaborate. Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions? No? Okay, so Professor, thank you very much for being here with us. And I would like to thank you, and I would like to thank our intern, Vanessa Zervogianni, for inviting you through us. It was a very good initiative she has taken, and now we can get more connected. Thank you very much, and this session is over.
Thank you so much too. Thank you so much, of course, for your presentation, for my participation and my invitation to participate in this important event. It's for me a pleasure, and I wait for other contacts, scientific contacts in this line. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.